Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Steve.
How's everybody doing? Axel, good to see you. Let's see if I can get everybody happening here. Gary, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Weather's perfect. I get to go out and slave in the yard in a little bit, you know.
Come on. That's right. I'm right there with you. I was planning on doing it myself. So that's good. Maybe we'll have a small crew this morning. Look at this. You guys may get the full meal deal here. Let's see. We got a bunch of sleepy heads on a Saturday morning here. Let's see here. All right, we'll give them another minute or two. Axel, how's your world going?
Well, autumn is starting, so I have to prepare my garden for winter.
Yeah.
But the weather is a little bit mixed, so not so warm. We have about 10 degrees Celsius.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's okay.
Yeah. Now, do you get much snow in Munich? I guess you would get a lot of snow, I would think.
Yeah, it depends. So Munich is pretty close to the Alps.
Oh,
So
okay.
we are about 50 kilometers away from the Alps. So, and there is always a lot of snow. And in this region, it depends on the winter. Sometimes you have quite some snow and sometimes not so much.
Yeah. In Nashville, it'll snow 5 or 6 times in a year. Enough to, cover the grass a little bit in the yard. It's gone in a couple of days. So that's how it is. My wife, Paulette, is from North Dakota. And so I have learned I cannot ever complain about snow or cold. She says, "You don't even know cold." So
Yep.
she says how she remembers as a child shoveling out of the house, opening the front door, and it just so much snow they had to shovel out of the house.
Wow.
That's not, yeah.
She said we used to play, we would go up the snowbank and go onto the roof of the house. So it's a different level of snow. Me from Texas, I could count on my hand the times I've seen snow before I moved to Tennessee. So there you go. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Christine. You look fresh and ready to go. Paulette, good to see you.
Good morning.
Ron, my Toronto friend. Good to see you. I'm liking that shirt, Ron. Come on. I miss the gathering. Man, we missed our conference this year, the summer conference.
Yep.
We missed the fall conference. Oh, it's terrible.
Like the year that wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It was.
It
Really?
just never panned out. It's getting to be fall. I'm thinking about our fingerstyle retreat that we have every year. That's done. We'll
Are
next
you
year.
officially out of quarantine now, Steve?
Yes, I'm off the couch. I'm back
Hey.
in my own bed. I've never appreciated my bed as much as I do now. So I am out of quarantine. Although Paulette is not as thrilled with me being back in the bed. She was kind of getting used to
All to herself.
all to herself. Kind of gets this starfish thing happening. So yeah, no, she was enjoying that. But we're back, and I'm so glad to be back. Never did get sick and felt fine the whole time. So thankful for that. Very thankful for that. Leslie, good to see you this morning. All right. Let's get started. Thank you so much for the week off that we were able to squeeze in there. Darn that dream. Did you guys? It's hard, complicated. That one was a tricky one. How did you guys like Darn That Dream this week?
Gorgeous.
Good.
The
Very
finger style arrangement is just beautiful.
well. There's several years that was taken off the end of my life to provide that for you.
Okay, I'm going to need those several years in order to learn how to play it.
I was going to do a simple arrangement, and I should have done a simple arrangement. I'm going to do a simple arrangement for Take the A Train that we're doing this week. But I had that arrangement. I did that on a live lesson. Oh gosh, I don't know, several years ago. It's the one we did on patterns and jazz tricks and patterns, powers of three, something like that. And I played that as the opening song. And I must have just gotten a few new chords that week or whatever, and I was trying them out. And so it ended up being really pretty. So I remember thinking, I need to write that down. And so that's what this was. So I took way too much time writing that all out. And I thought, as I'm writing those 7/4 measures, I thought, they're never going to. Nobody's going to like this. But it ended up being very pretty. What a pretty song. Does not land very comfortably on guitar, as I'm sure you have noticed. It just doesn't, the chromaticism, it just doesn't land nicely in a position or something like that. I tried everything I could think of, just never quite landed right on that. But a gorgeous ballad, and I really, really wanted to do it. So I'm glad we did it. I'm glad it's over with. And I was able to get in some really good concept. The shell voicings, we got a really good introduction to all the shell voicings. So I was really glad about that. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Let me make sure everybody can record if you want to. I think I've already gotten everybody. Looks like it's just going to be us this morning, which is fine with me. Okay, I think I got everybody. All right, let's get right into it. Let's take first, let's take a look at the shell voicings that we talked about. Okay, so here's the can y'all hear me okay? We had some comments about my audio a while back, so I'm working on the audio stuff. I've got a little mic right here, so we'll hopefully get that continuing to improve. If you look at the bottom of page 1, okay, if you have your guitars, grab them and let's go through a couple of these. Okay, we've got, here's the deal. You've got the root or the fifth, which can be substituted for each other. You've got the third and you've got the seventh. Now, these sort of voicings that land kind of on the sixth, the fifth, the fourth, and the third string don't go much past that. Wow, this is what the Freddie Green style of comping in guitar, this is all that he did. It's just all those, it's just all of those styles. So I thought I would just write them completely out. First one, we have a 6-string root. It's the major 7th. And I just put the 3 main flavors of chords. The major 7th. If you switch your fingers around, you have your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. You have the minor 7th. Okay. You have the C7th, the dominant 7th. 3 different forms, but do you see they're the same stacking of notes? Root, 7th, whatever kind of 7th it is, and then whatever kind of 3rd it is. Okay. Now you can also do them with a 5th string root. Okay, so if we go down to the 2nd position here, try that next batch. We've got the C major 7th there, 2nd finger, 1st finger, 3rd finger. That's how I usually do it. C minor 7th, a little bit of a stretch here. 2nd finger, 1st finger way back at the 1st fret. 3rd finger there. And then if I raise that flatted 3rd up to a normal 3rd, we get the C7th. Okay? And those are the ones with the 5th string. So we've got 6-string ones, we got 5th string ones. All right. Now, if I go back to that C major 7th, that I had the 5th string version, and then just put my finger on the 6th string, I get a a C major 7th with a G in the bass. Okay, it's the alternating bass idea. I'm muting out that 5th string, so he's still in there, but my little rear end of my 2nd finger is sitting on that string there. Okay, so that would make the minor 7th would end up being this. The dominant 7th, if I put that 1st finger in one, ends up being this. Now, while they may sound a little disjointed without context, when you put them in context, everything starts to make sense. So flip over to page 6, and let's just do that while we're in this chord mode here.
Quick question, Steve. On the 6th string root chords, are you always muting out the 5th string?
Yes.
Okay.
The short answer is yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's just how it is. It's just it's a lazy hand position way to do it. Not that the people didn't work hard, but it was just you kind of have your hand position is kind of laying down on the other string. Now you can do other combinations of chords. That's completely, and even in the song, we get into other combinations of those chords. So, good morning, Rick. Glad you made it. We're on page 6. We're doing some shell voicings. All right, so take a look at this. The first one we run across the top of page 6 is a G major 7th. Okay. Then we have the B flat minor 7th. And then the E flat 7 with a B flat in the bass. All you have to do is just switch those 2 fingers around. The reason why people use these is because you can get through rather complex chord progressions and still sound with some continuity in it, okay? Otherwise, you end up with... You end up with just chords that jump everywhere, and it creates a lack of cohesiveness with it. So a lot of times if the chord progressions get really quick or they're odd and they're jumping around, these shell voicings will help bring back a similar thing to it, similar sound. Okay. All right. So if you guys are ready, well, let's go on to measure 3. We have the E minor 7th here, and then we have an A 7th here. Actually, that's just an A triad there. An inversion. Okay. And then if I just scoot my 2nd and 3rd finger back one, I get a really sweet C minor 6th. So there are a couple other ones that didn't fit into our initial batch that we had there, and these are 2 of them right there. But if you put that in context, it sounds like this. So you're able to get through all these chords, and it sounds rather connected. Okay, you want to try it? Everybody's looking at me so hesitantly. Let's try it. Let's try it together. Without the track. We won't do the track just yet. Okay, we can slow it down a little bit. Okay. Now, if you miss one, miss or 2, I don't care. Just try and keep up with us. Now, also you'll notice that in the end of the first measure, I kind of wrote E flat 7 with a B flat in the bass, and then I never do that again. I'll just put whatever the chord is, even if it has an alternate bass, because these are kind of so back and forth that it would get confusing to read that way. Okay, so let's see if we can start at the beginning. This is the G major 7th at the chorus, top of page 6, nice and slow. 1, 2, ready, go. G major 7th, B flat minor 7th, E flat 7, A minor, B7, E minor, A7, scoot the fingers back, B minor 7th. Next line, slow it down even a little bit more. B minor, B flat minor, walking down first ending, A minor, D7. One beat each here, B minor, E7, A minor, D7. Okay, let's go back to top, 2, nice and slow. B flat minor, E flat, A minor, B7, E minor, then scoot that up 2 frets. A minor, F7, B minor. This time we'll take the second ending. So this is the third line, second ending, A minor, D7, then G major 7. Okay, freeze. We'll stop right there. Everybody do okay with that so far? Okay, all right. Okay, now we're going to come into the bridge. Okay, so let's get into that. Let's start right on the third line again. Right on the third line, that second ending, the A minor. 1, 2, A minor 7, third line. A minor, D7, G major 7th. Then an F minor 7th jump up, B flat. Now here's the first time we hit a 5th string chord right there at that E flat major 7th. Start right there, ready, go. E flat major 7th, C minor, sorry, F minor, B flat. Then we scoot up, G minor, scoot down a half step, scoot down another half step, B flat 7, E flat, C minor, one beat each here, A minor, D7, G minor, back up to A minor, D7, up a half step to E flat, excuse me, E, D7, and then just like the beginning, back to the beginning, G major 7th, B flat minor, E flat 7, A minor, B7, E minor, A7, scoot back, B minor, A minor, F7, B minor, just down a half step, down another half step, D7, G major 7. Okay. Woo! Okay. Lots of chords, and I realize they're new to you, so you may not be able to keep up, with me right there. That's okay. That's okay. But the main thing is that you understand kind of the idea behind it. Okay. Any questions with that? Any problems with that?
I find these kind of relaxing to play.
Say that again, Christine.
I find these kind of relaxing to play.
Yep.
Just,
Put a nice big lazy Count Basie big band behind it, and you sit back there after playing for 60 years doing the same chords with your head kind of hunched over your guitar, and you go. They work great. And then you could do, on faster stuff, all I'm doing is basically doubling my picking, and then everything else kind of works for that. Yes, Paulette, you had something. Oh, you didn't have something. Okay. Good. Any other thoughts on this before we get to the melody? Cool. All right. Take a look at the melody. Very chromatic. Very chromatic. I tried my best to give you some help through there. I've even already found a few, not mistakes, but things I could have helped you out with a little bit more. So back on page 2, let's take a look at Darn That Dream, the melody as it's written. Okay, so it doesn't land well on guitar. It just doesn't. So you have to kind of just do the best you can. I tried a bunch of fingerings. Is this the right one? I don't know. This one kind of worked a little bit easier for me. Okay, so we start out here in the 5th position with our first finger on that D. Then we roll down to the G, second finger on the E flat. Now, be careful. The beginning of the second measure, that's back to an E natural again. I forgot to give you a courtesy accidental there, but that's actually an E natural again. The previous measure was a E flat, but remember, if you put a flat or a sharp on a note within a measure, it only lasts for that measure. And then it's back to normal again. So that top should be. Slipping back to the fourth position there. Third finger here, G sharp, A, B, C, D. Second finger, E, B. Okay. Next line, B, D. Second finger, F sharp. Then it helped to get back to the fifth position here using the third finger. So I realize that's a little jump right there, but that gets you back in the position. So catch that F, E flat, and then slide back down for the D, F sharp, D. So it just doesn't, it's just awkward. It's just awkward on guitar. I apologize for that. It's just a piano song trying to fit on guitar. It just doesn't necessarily fit all the time. Good morning, John. Glad you're here. We are on the melody on page 2. That's where we're at right now, John. Okay, so take a look at the second line. We start off with our first finger on the, oh no, I'm sorry. Let's go to the third line where that second ending is. Measure 9, 2, ready, second finger D, B, first finger B, and then G. Okay, now here, I switched the fifth position, so I put my first finger where my second finger just was, and then I play this pretty much out in the fifth position. So this is the bridge. Ready, and play. C, C, B flat. Third finger, fourth finger, third finger, second. Reach back for this B, then back up to fifth position there. Then we do it again. Top of the next page. First, fourth, then slide up, fourth, then back to 1. Slide back, first finger there, second finger. Now I'm in the fourth position. And third finger here, move back up to the fifth, down again. Okay. Any questions about that? Let me see if I can get the track up. Okay, we're getting there. Hang on. Hang on. Come on, computer. Don't fail me now. All right. While it's loading here, that's the melody. Any questions about the switching around of the fingers for that one? Okay. You guys are doing good? All right, one spot. I should have had this preloaded here. All right. All right.
1.
There we go.
2, 3, 4.
I'll give it to you again. Here we go. 2, ready, go. Reach up. back to the top. Second ending. First finger. Now we're in the 5th position. Lazy triplets. Reach back. Reach up and back. Reach up. Okay. Good job. Take a look at the melody up an octave. Hey, did you guys happen to be on the Facebook page and listen to Julien Lage's version of this? Dang. Wow. A true child prodigy. Okay, so he was doing amazing stuff when he was 8. Okay, yeah, it was another level of that. You know, there are some people walking the earth that are that way. It's frustrating to the rest of us mere mortals, but yeah, there are some people that just run off down it. And that ending. What was all that? Hey, I'll put the link up on Facebook or on the Facebook page. I did find out some poor guy who I don't envy transcribed all of that and put it up on YouTube. So you can buy the PDF. I didn't know if you can buy you just watch it. You watch it go by. It's amazing. So I'll put that up on the Facebook page. Yeah, if you haven't checked that out, check that out. Yeah, it's humbling. Okay, let's do it up an octave. Okay, so this is page 4. This we start off in the 7th position. Again, I wrestled with myself 10 times over this, how to play this and get it. For me, this worked out easier. For me, you may have something else works out easier. I do 1, 2, and then I go slide up to the next 1, and then I keep sliding up until eventually, by measure 2, I'm in the 9th position. And then I stay in the 9th position. And I eventually get to the 10th. Okay? But see that little awkwardness there? It just, the other way was like this. It just ended up crossing fingers and awkward fingers and stuff like this. For me, this happened to be the easiest. Okay? So it starts in the 7th. So let's play through it here for a second. Ready? And first finger, second finger, then slide up first. Slide it. Remember, it goes to the natural there. Second finger here. Then first finger, second finger. Whole step up to a 3rd finger. Now we're in the 10th position. Okay, next line, 3rd finger, first finger, 4th, 3rd, 1st, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. Then back to 1 right there. Okay, a finger twister, no matter how you did it. That seemed to be the easiest way to do it for me. Other folks may have a different preference. That's completely fine. On the position notations that I have there, just in case there may be some confusion, because I've kind of changed my mind on how I want to do that, and this is kind of where I've landed. I used to put them kind of in front of everything. Now I put them directly underneath where the change happens. So you'll see, like in the 3rd bar there, the 10th position is directly underneath that 3 which is where it changed. Okay. It just, I've kind of figured out how to do this a little bit better since we started. So let's take a look at the bridge. This is the measure 11 we're here in the 8th position, and here we're pretty much here the entire time with an occasional shift out every now and then. So here's the bridge, 2, 3, first finger, and 1. Third, fourth, reach back, and back into position, and 1. Reach back, first finger, second finger. Now you don't have to play, that's an awkward fingering. I realize that, going back to second and then first, second, I don't know. For me, that's better, but feel free to find something else. Okay, and then the rest of it is just like it was before. Okay, so let's try and play this. All right, here we go. Can y'all hear the track okay? Everything's fine when we were doing it earlier?
1, 2.
Here we go. Ready? And... then back to the 7th, and we will climb our way up. Second ending, 3rd, then 4th, then 3rd. Now back to 8th position, first finger. Try and add some slides if you want to. Reach back. Okay, there you go. Any questions on that? Okay, we've already talked about the shell voicing, so we'll skip that for now. The lick of the week. Hey, this is a great one, page 7. It'll get you out of a lot of tight spots. If you wanted to add some pull-offs and stuff in there. It's an E minor 7th arpeggio. And then I descend in a D. I just slide down a half step and descend. I slide down another half step and ascend. Then I resolve to that 3rd of that dominant 7th chord and walk my way scale-wise down to the 3rd of the 3rd of the 1. So it works great over progressions like this: 3, flat 3, 2 minor, 5, 1. It'll even work great over a 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. And it'll just sound a little chromatic there for that one little 2 beats and then move on. So you can squeeze this lick in a bunch of different places. Okay? And it's a real handy lick. So if you don't want to have to think of something that's, oh my God, I have to think of something creative, it's just an arpeggio. Starting on the root. So, I mean, it's pretty easy. And it just spins out there. Okay? Questions on the lick of the week? Now, where you can put it on in Darn That Dream is on the B minor, B flat minor, A minor, D7 progression, which is in measure 6 and 7, right before that first ending. Okay. So I have it written out here. So if we played that, let me see if I can get that back. Or I played it up here at the 11th. Okay, so if I played that in Darn That Dream, it would sound...
1, 2, 3, 4.
This is the first measure. Second measure. Third measure. Fourth measure. Get ready. Fifth measure, 2, and play. Okay, so we're going to do that again here in a minute. 2, first measure, second measure, third measure, fourth measure. Get ready. 2, ready, play. Okay, then we do it again in the over the G minor. Here and. You could even squeeze it in here. Could you? I'm looking at 3 different pieces of music. Okay, so that's some ideas of how you could use that. Now, if you have to squeeze a longer amount of time with the same lick, then you can double up on the notes. You can vary it in some sort of a way. So I can do all kinds of things. I can even do... I'm just going the root back and forth between a half step, back and forth between every note in the thing. And kind of make it extend it longer than that there. Do you understand what I did there? Instead of going, I just went back and forth. You'll hear guitar players do that all the time because it's real easy to kind of visualize that on the guitar. You don't have to change your licks or anything. You can just still play that same idea, just you're varying it around. Any questions on that? That's a great little lick. Hey, John, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Mute myself. Not so much on that lick, but on, well, that lick is as a part of you know, the improvising ideas that, or I should say rather the soloing ideas that you suggested, you know, and you said that you know, that because there were so many chords to basically just use the chord tones, you know, and the first measure, you know, like I was fooling around with that, just you know, just trying to you know, to get some ideas outside of the melody to play, and that in the very first bar, there's 2 beats of a C major 7th, and then there's 1 beat of a B flat minor 7th, and then 1 beat of an E flat 7. How would, you know, how, I mean, you know, I came up with a couple of things that I could do, but they sounded kind of, they sounded kind of sterile. I mean,
It is,
if, you know, like, you know, how would you handle that? You know, just that first measure.
okay. Well, here's some thoughts. I put up on the Facebook page the solo by Dexter Gordon on that. If you're man, he's a tenor sax player. A lot of tenor sax things work really well on guitar because they just kind of phrase nicely, similar range and stuff like that. just drop dead gorgeous soloing over a complex tune. It's just brilliant. So listen to that and then just sit back and marvel at how he can get through all of these changes and just gloriously make this beautiful thing. Now, some options you could try for that first measure. Well, you got a G major 7th there, okay? And then I got a B flat minor and an E flat 7. Well, that's a kicking into theory gear. That's a 2-5 in the key of A flat.
Okay.
Okay, so I could do something like a little lick in G major. And then just do the same lick a half step up in A flat. Since those two are thinking, we talked about this, I don't know, a month or so ago, thinking about tonal centers.
Right.
That might be an idea that you could explore there, where I could just play some simple, like all that was an arpeggio in G major 7th. And then I did the same thing. And let's see if that works. Let's see if I'm preaching heresy here. Hang on a second.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You know, okay, so then the A minor 7th, what do we have there? Well, we could kind of go back into G, but then you very quickly get to the B7 going to the E minor. So there's pitfalls every beat of where you could go wrong, because the tonality is just changing all the time.
Yeah.
So that's why when I see things like that, I panic, because there's so many places that you could step that would be wrong,
Right.
So when that situation, I kind of go back to just the chord tones just to create something, that'll work. So pretty much everything I played there was a chord tone.
Right.
Now, it wasn't Dexter Gordon, but I didn't hit a landmine.
Yeah.
I didn't go for something. Now, the trap also is for guitar players is we go, oh my goodness, okay, look at all those chords. I know a few licks to those chords. I'm going to play like this. And you end up with this, you play your lick over that chord everywhere, right, and it ends up sounding completely disconnected all the way through it. Yeah. So it is, for me, I have found a more musical option,
right,
is just playing safe. That just went from the D of the G major 7th to the E flat of those two chords to the E of the A 7th, maybe back to the D sharp for that B 7th, maybe to the D of the E minor 7th. So I'm just kind of weaving a little line through all of these chords. Another thing you can do, a trick that you can do, is never stray far from the melody. Just kind of play the melody. So I'm playing about 70% of the melody with some other weavy things in there. And so that's another way you can get out of, those.
One thing I did find was that when I just did play the chord tones, that they did lead me, that even though there are all those chords that that each time I played the notes in the chord tone, that I was only one step away from the next chord. And so it it did all kind of connect if I just stayed with the chord tones.
Yeah.
There was it did have some, musicality to it because they did, it's like I said, if I was, like I stopped on one, but then I realized the next chord was an E minor and, oh, gee, I just moved up one fret, I was in an E minor position. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very smart way to look at it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just tough. It's just
Yeah.
tough. For me, I can create a more musical moment thinking chord tones and slow rather than trying to fit in licks because they're coming so fast. So I end up with this ba-ba-dee-bop, bibbidi-bip, ba-ba-dee-bop, bip-bip-bip, sort of a solo that doesn't really work melodically and people don't engage with. So it's much better if I can take a rhythmic idea. Okay, that's my rhythmic idea, da 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 da. Okay, and then I just start playing with chord tones and keeping that rhythmic idea. So just a little simple little rhythmic idea, but at least I didn't hit a wrong note. The landmines are so big in something like this, and so when you just start running into the field, you're gonna hit it. You're gonna hit them. Let's take a second on the chord melody. Is anybody going through the chord melody? Anybody attempting the chord melody? Okay, I see one daring hand there, and then a couple other tentatives. Okay, that's what I figured. So sorry about that. Ron, come on. I saw that tentative hand there. Good.
Someday.
I'll do it easier on Take the A Train. I'm working through Take the A Train now, and I'm like, why on earth didn't I start with this one? This is easy. It's easy. So easy. So here we ended up with this, and then we're going to go into Take the A Train, which is going to be the easiest thing so far, and y'all are going to go. Okay. So darn that dream. I got a little too creative with this, but it was just so pretty, and it lent itself well to a couple of different options. So while I tell you not to play open strings, this one just kind of landed. It's in G, kind of landed well on guitar for some open strings. There's a B flat minor 11th. Don't get too knocked out with all of those 16th notes. Generally, I'm just arpeggiating the chord. I just shifted one note down. Hey, here's a fun little lick. It's a little scale-wise thing, but I keep everything ringing. 7th finger on the A, open B, first finger on the C, E. It's a great little lick I learned from Adrian Legg. Adrian Legg, great fingerstyle guitarist. And I thought, what was that you just played? Everything's ringing together, and you're not even moving your hand. You're overlapping fretted notes, and you're making a little scale out of it. A little snippet of that idea. Okay, B ninth, flat 5. You can play those on the beat. You think that's hard. What I initially had written out there was a 5/8 bar because I wanted it to do this. Da-ba-da-ga-ga, but man, I ended up with a quintuplet and all kinds of craziness. So I thought they're going to die when I write this out. I better not do it. So I did that. But if you do want to get creative and offset them, hey, come on, have at it. D7 flat 9, sharp 11 with an A in the bass. It's actually an A flat triad with an A in the bass. Sounds nasty, but you put it in context, it sounds jazzy. Little pull off to that open E. Little trick you can do on diminished chords that have an E as their as a tone that works with them. Little practice on pull-offs and you got a magical lick there that everybody thinks you're a guitar player if you can play that. Again, everything's ringing together. Don't worry about that 5/4. This is all rubato. So you'll see this in rubato arrangements of 7/4 and 11/8 and crazy things like that. It's just they got to fit all that music into a little space. So you're not actually going 1 E end to 2 E end. Don't think of it like that. You'll drive yourself nuts. It's just try and put the notes after each other and let them cascade, and that's how it's going to be. A really cool A minor 9th here. C minor 7th. Here was my chord I must have learned that week. Okay. Very tense chord. E13th with a flat 9. Because I played it a couple times in that arrangement. That sort of a thing. Any questions on that part of it so far? Rick, you're doing this arrangement. What have you found?
Well, I actually enjoy it. I really do. I like the challenge and I like the open string lick you had there. And I like the open strings because if you do it on an acoustic guitar, it sounds really good. I like that.
Yeah, they really ring out on acoustic. That's what's interesting about the Julian Lage stuff with his Telecaster. You still get that ringy bell-like thing. An interesting thing of Telecasters in jazz, Ted Green and Julian Lage, and a couple other ones use the bright, tingy, twangy Telecaster, gets this real bell-like ringing sound with it. That looks more complicated than it is. It's just this chord, this, and I'm just arpeggiating it. This is all pretty standard here. Little inner line movement there. Parallel movement here. Inner line movement. Those little subtleties are nice. If you can grab them. Our Stairway to Heaven lick right there. Okay, and then we go through all that stuff again. And then we come out of that. And then we take the coda. Parallel. This is one of the pattern licks. It's the same chord. I'm just moving it every 3 frets. That's the first one that starts the thing. And then I didn't do this one, but I could have. The ear kind of interprets patterns like that, and it doesn't bother. The ear kind of understands the relationship. So even though those chords make no sense in anything else, the ear will interpret that as making sense because it's a pattern. And then I spin, as long as you catch the dismount, getting it down into that A minor. You can fancy those up by arpeggiating those or pulling off or whatever. Let's see. I can do anything. I did them every 3 frets. Hey, let's try them every 2 frets. As long as I catch the dismount, it doesn't matter. Okay. Patterns. So this might be a good time to go back and look at that link I had for patterns and powers of 3 and stuff like that. That's strictly what that was. And then it just finishes it out like it did before. A little harmonic there just to bring it out. And then I do a pattern lick again. Nothing magical there. It's the same chord, arpeggiating down 2 steps each time. What if I did it every 3? It doesn't matter. What if I did random ones? It doesn't matter. It's all just, it's all pattern, and your ear will interpret that as something that makes music. And then I was right there at a G major 13th with that flatted 5 just to give a little extra sauce on it, and then you resolve it. Okay.
I think that whole tone, the descending whole tone progression, that's really cool after hearing so many chromatic semitone progressions all through the song. That kind of like opens your ear back out.
Pops, doesn't it? It really
Yeah.
pops the ear because of the difference. And you can get by with a lot of that shtick in jazz of just moving things around. What was the lick? Okay, that's a chord that I like. What if I didn't? I'm just doing that same lick every 3 frets. You know, put a little, attitude on that and make it a little faster, and it'll sound like I meant to play that. And it's the same thing. It's just a pattern. You can do it on anything. Okay, so it ends up being a tool that you can use for different things. Any last minute questions?
Yeah, I have one more observation, I guess. What you said about this, the song being so hard. It's actually a good thing because like after having worked with it for a few days, and really trying to figure it out, I then went back and played Blue Bossa, and I played
All the Things You Are.
and I played All of Me.
All of me, yeah.
And with both of them, I thought, geez, these are easy, because I've been struggling my way through this thing. And sometimes when you do, you really put in, some time to, to really figure out how to play this tune. I mean, it really helps you with the other tunes because, they just don't seem nearly as hard. Yeah.
Exactly. There's so many chromatic places you could go. That's what this one gets great at. It's because, there's so many, it's so rich. You can go so many different ways in it. Any last thoughts? Hey, Axel.
Yeah, I have a question regarding the shell voicings. So I'm a little bit struggling in keeping my wrist loose, but just hitting the strings which should be met. So do you have a special exercise how this could be trained, or?
On your wrist, on your fretting hand or your picking hand?
On the picking hand.
On the picking hand. No exercises, just relax, man. You gotta you gotta think like you're a jazz guy with a cigarette butt hanging off the end of your guitar. You gotta think. It's the motion is like you're flicking water off your hand. Okay, so I can't go chunk chunk. I can't do that. You'll die. You'll die at the end of the first set of the 4-hour gig that you have to play. You gotta just relax and let the hand flop like it's going to. So I'm just, the only tension is that I have to still hold the pick. Other than that, my hand is just flop and flop and flop and flop. And that's the one thing that helps. If you try and stiff arm it like a robot, you'll die. It's just too much. It's just too much. So that you gotta use the natural flop of the hand and that rebound of the hand. You gotta use that motion to help. That'll help with all that.
And how can I stop then at the appropriate string?
Oh, okay.
So because if I leave it such loose, then most of the time I'm hitting too many strings.
Yep. Okay. Okay, that comes back to this hand. Okay, so, but I'm also, just like this guy is kind of sloppily hanging on to that 5th string, this guy is sloppily hanging on the 2nd string. All right, let me get going here. So even if I do hit that 2nd string, I got it. But Steve, I still might hit the 1st string. Not if you got your pinky rubbing the bottom there, like I do sometimes. So here, I've covered everything. So the only thing left is the ones I'm trying to do. So,
Okay.
all right. Love you guys. I got to go teach another lesson. Take the A trains next. Woo! You can relax. We got a good one. Hey, thanks, Ron. Look at that. Look at the graphics. See you guys. Have a great weekend. Go help somebody. We'll see you.
Steve.
Bye-bye.
See ya.